All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And I want to talk a bit about this whole viral scenario that's going on with this man called Raja Jackson, who is the son of the MMA fighter Rampage Jackson, right? And he ended up beating some guy up pretty bad, man. And now you got all these people on the internet crying about it and stuff like that, right? But they're trying to judge it according to their own will and ultimately not according to what the scriptures say. And let me just quickly get the law, if I can remember where it was, because I've already commented on this a couple of days ago. But I want to try and see if I remember where it was again. Here we go, Exodus chapter 21 and verse 18. If men strive together, which is what happened, right, and one smite another with a stone, he didn't use a stone or with his fist, he used his fists and he used a body slam, and he died not. The man ain't dead, right, but keep of his bed. The man's in hospital right now, right? If he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit, meaning that the judgment of him having to go to prison is not a thing. But these people in the world that claim they're Christians, all these so-called white people, they got their way of having things done, right? Which is the reason why this society is as wicked as it is, because they only ever want justice whenever it's our people. They only ever want prison time whenever it's our people. But then when they get caught doing a lesser crime, right, now they're talking about, oh, there's murders out there, there's this and there's that. Motherfucker, your crime's still a crime. So just because a sin, just if we're going with the laws of the scriptures, right, you ain't less of a sinner because you ate pork and another person committed adultery. You're a sinner too. Now, one of them is a sin unto death, but all sins are ultimately lead to death anyway. The wages of sin are death. So even if somebody followed every single law, but they was eating pork, they were still worthy of death and they're still going to die. They're still going to lose their life eventually one day. But these people in this world, they want it to be, oh, well, my crime's a bit less than theirs, so he let me off. But then the other person did let them feel the full brunt of the law. That's how these people judge it, man. And then that's why we've got a world where people are just antagonistic assholes that run around, think you can go around hitting cans off grown men's heads, right? And then apologize, and then now it's over. Well, when I saw that situation, right, and I'm going to finish reading this law, only he shall pay him for his loss of time, meaning that he should have to pay, Roger Jackson should have to pay for any damage, any hospital bills that man's having to go through, right? And shall cause him to be thoroughly healed, pay for his hospital bills, and pay for the loss of time that he missed out on money that he made while he was in the hospital. Because had he have not, here's the thing that people keep forgetting when it comes to this situation, had he have not hit the can off man's head, talking about you need to be worrying about psycho stew, right? Then that wouldn't have happened. Because what if anybody else would have came in with a camera? What if one of them men's families would have came with a camera and wanted to record and see the behind the scenes of the show? Is he going to come up to them and say, you don't need to worry about me, you need to worry about psycho stew, and hit them over the head with a can? He knows that him and Roger Jackson did not agree in any way, shape, or form that he was going to take a can, and it was a real can, by the way. For all these people saying it was a fake can, it was real. To my understanding, it was a real can. Because why would he have just had a fake can lying around when he went and to hit Roger Jackson in the head when they never agreed upon nothing like that? The only reason why that man even ended up in the match in the first place was because he hit him in the head with a can, which he shouldn't have did, which is the reason why he apologized for it. Now, what that I saw from that situation, right, is one thing that's written in the scriptures where when you shall cease to deal treacherously with them, they're going to deal treacherously with you. And that's what Roger did to this guy, man. That's what that guy did to him. When he thought it was over and we're cool now, oh, it's all, let it slide. You've hit me in the head with a can, and now all's forgiven. Bygones are bygones, right? Actually, nah, it wasn't that. He still held a grudge. Just like how when Esau starts to think in general that he's going to just let things slide now, and okay, now I've got the society as I want it. You own nothing, but don't worry, you can rent it from us. You own nothing, but you're going to be happy. The world's going to turn against him, and they're going to be like, nah, we remember all the things that you did to get here. We remember when you destroyed our country. Remember when you pillaged our land. Remember when you stole from us. Remember all the things that you did to get to this point, to where now you think you can afford to be nice to people all of a sudden and not have to deal treacherously anymore. We remember all the things that you did to get here. And now we're holding a grudge. You're going to think we're cool, but we're not cool. And that's the example. Example is what this guy did. He shook his hand. Yeah, it's cool, don't worry. But he was planning in his mind, from what I seen, to cause harm to the guy. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1. But here's the thing, all these people crying and saying he's supposed to go to jail and all that. And now all these people trying to blame his dad for this and that. And saying, oh, we don't like you, you're an N-word this, you're an N-word that. Well, maybe all you Edomites that have got a problem with with Rampage, right? For what his son did, maybe now you can understand why we hate you. But you say, oh, it wasn't me, it was my forefathers that had your ancestors in the Atlantic slave trade. Maybe now you can understand why we hate you. Something in the past, but we still feel like you're guilty. Just like how you people are trying to accuse the father for the son, for the crimes of the son. Well, we're accusing the son for the crimes of the father, because the father and the son, really, as we see from you Edomites, have did all the same stuff to us anyway. You all hate us. And it always shows its head the moment you think you've got a chance to get one over on us, man. The moment you people thought you could find a way in to try and destroy Rampage Jackson and his son's lives in some way, shape, or form, because you're jealous of them and envious of them, because you see them on getting, you're probably jealous of Rampage Jackson because you see him getting women that you want or whatever, right? You Edomites, you see him having all these Edomite women throwing themselves at him, right? The moment you thought you had a chance to get one on them, you went for it. And that's how you do it all, Israelites, man, because you're demons. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. You Edomites have gone around always bothering everyone, man. You're always talking about, if you don't like it, go to Africa. If we go to Africa, are we going to see so-called white people there? Or are we going to only see our own people there? Because I find it interesting that I was watching videos today where so-called white people are saying I'm getting out of America and I'm going to Mexico. But didn't you Edomites make a whole campaign about building walls to keep Mexicans from getting into your country? But now, all of a sudden, you're trying to go to their country, and you're talking about all these countries that you want to go to. But then, are you going to go there legally? Or are you prepared to go to there? If America became so bad that it was not livable to live in there, and it was just so much chaos going in there, would you people just die out and just say, I'm not going to go to Northern Land, I'm staying in America no matter what? Or would you, for the sake of survival of your own life, leave out and go to any other land on the earth in order to survive? Because that's survival skills. Of course you would leave the country that you're from and go to another country. But then when you get there, would you want to be called an illegal immigrant? Would you want to get there and be called an illegal immigrant all of a sudden now? Is that what you'd want? But you always have just been hypocrites, man. And it's disgusting. You're always hypocrites. Always, it's the usual suspects whenever a so-called black person or anyone else with brown skin does a crime. But then when you do it, it's, oh, it was him. It wasn't white people that committed the crime. It was Andrew Davidson Brown Jr., the third. That was 5'9", 175 pounds from Termadale Lane, 35 Edomite Lane. It was him that did that crime, not me. I'm not guilty. I didn't do it. It was the elites. It was the Jews that did it. It's not me. Only 1.8% people owned slaves in the Atlantic slave trade. So all the other 98.2%, they don't deserve anything to happen to them. Because, mate, how can 1.8% of people rule over a whole other nation without the help of the other 98.2%, man? Don't play games, bro. It's going to be hilarious to see in the kingdom when these Edomites are throwing each other under the bus to try and get one less lash, man. Oh, don't lash me. Oh, but you're trying to punish me. But he was eating pork too, secretly. Oh, but he was committing adultery as well. He was trying to build up a sacrifice to a Molech. But you're just punishing me. He did it too. And his line of Edomite, when we had the power, they was doing cannibalism on all your forefathers just like me. So why are you only punishing me for? Y'all are gonna be snitching Randall. Y'all are gonna be snitching it off. It's gonna be hilarious and disgusting to see at the same time, man, because you Edomites ain't got no real brotherhood. You ain't got no real brotherhood, man. Y'all will throw each other under the bus quick. But back to this, Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1, to woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. That's what happened to that guy, man. When he thought, oh, it's cool, he's going to go in my match, he's just going to maybe do a little light work punches, and I'm going to say Psycho Stu, and I'm going to build up my reputation now as Psycho Stu, and I'm the one that hit Rampage Jackson's son. Oh, you've got a reputation now, all right? And here's the thing, like, we deal as Hebrew Israelites, we deal with everything spiritually, man. That was judgment what happened to that guy, man. Yahweh can judge somebody with using somebody and then make them get judged too, man. That was judgment, that guy getting that. To be honest with you. You don't know what he's did in his life. What he obviously ain't the most nicest individual to just be coming up to people and crashing cans on their head. I don't care what you people want to try and say. Oh, he thought it was a bit for the show. Maybe you should fucking do your job properly, yeah, and know who you're hitting first before you hit people. How about that? Maybe you should know what you're doing first. Sometimes in life. Because the same way how if he would have just thumped that man in his face after he hit him in the head with a can and knocked him unconscious, y'all would have been still saying, "Oh man, it was just a prank." Oh, all you Edomites talking about this guy. Oh, he's got no emotional control. He's got no emotional control. You Edomites ain't got no emotional control. Your forefathers are a sign of that. Esau, who sold his birthright. What are you talking about? You think that there wasn't no other food that Esau could have bought? Or excuse me, not bought, could have ate. You think there weren't no grapes back then? We had wine back then. You think there wasn't no grapes that Esau could have ate? No lettuce, no bread. Esau couldn't have ate bread instead of what he was trying to covet after Jacob's food. There wasn't no. They were a rich family, you know. Abraham was a rich man. Isaac was rich. So Jacob and Esau are rich. It's in the scriptures. You think that Esau didn't have anything else he could eat, but he had low emotional control and he was coveting after what Jacob had. And he couldn't control himself. And was like, I'm to the point of starvation. What the hell is this? You know what? Let's get it, man. For all you devils out there that don't know your history, but you want to run your mouth talking about us all the time, man. You devils don't know what you're doing. Trying to run up your mouth talking about us all the time. What are you under? Genesis chapter 25 and verse 29. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore, his name was called Esau. You think there weren't no other food available? You think there weren't, right? And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am to the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? That's low emotional control. Because he wasn't really going to die, was he? He weren't really going to die, was he? That's that same stuff that you Edomites say now. You haven't ate for 4 hours and you start slapping down a doner meat and chips. I'm starving, man. You ain't starving. You just ain't ate for 4 hours, man. Shut up, man. But that's what your forefather Esau did. At literally the beginning of your nation was that weak. And you think y'all are any stronger? Y'all ain't no stronger, man. Y'all would sell your birthright too, man. Y'all are gonna sell out your own selves when you take the mark of the BAST, man. You Edomites are gonna be some of the main ones taking that. You Edomites will sell out quick, man. You Edomites have already forgot about all the stuff that you said about you didn't want to happen to your country. All the same things that you Edomites would have complained about if Kamala Harris did them. Donald Trump's doing them, and you ain't got nothing to say. Because you're racist, and here's the thing, I don't care if you're racist. I don't care. But you're too much of a coward to just be real about who you are. You're cowards, man. And the reason why everyone calls you Edomites out for being racist is because you're the main people that try and pretend like you love everybody all the time when you don't, right? Now, that history lesson out of the way, let's go back to Isaiah 33 because you Edomites are some crybabies, man. And you Edomites have been dealing treacherously with everyone for a long time. And when it finally comes to where you start to realize that you're losing your power and that every single thing that you're trying to do to people ain't working, or we're gonna try and tell everyone to get out of the country. And if they started to leave, you'd realize that you ain't what you think you are. When these people do actually start leaving, according to prophecy that's written in Isaiah the 13th chapter, where everyone flees to their own land, when they actually do start to leave, you're gonna realize that you're not as what you thought you were. You're not as much of a hot commodity as you thought you were, man. And the only reason why people deal with you is because of money, and you already know that. And that's the reason why you're so scared of China building up and becoming more powerful, because you know that if you don't have the financial advantage over the world, you become zero. You become last place. If every single Israelite right now that's on earth right now just lived in a world where you Edomites did not have power to decide what happens in our day-to-day life, and if any other nation decided that instead of us, even, we'd be in a much better place than what we are now under you Edomites, man. And you Edomites can't afford to see that, because you know if you don't have the financial advantage, you're last place. You know this. And let me get a scripture on why I'm saying that. You know if you don't have the financial advantage, you're last place. No if, and, or buts about it, man. So that chapter 10 and verse 31, excuse me, and verse 30, the poor man is honoured for his skill. That's us Israelites, man. We're the poor man right now, right? And the rich man is honoured for his riches. That's you Edomites, man. You so-called white people. You're honoured only because of wealth. The only reason why people listen to your dumb jokes is because of financial advantage that you have over them. Once that financial advantage is gone, nobody's going to have to talk to you anymore. Nobody's going to have to listen to your dumb jokes. No one's going to have to deal with you in a fair way. And that's why when you cease to deal treacherously with people, they're going to deal treacherously with you. You Edomites always get proud and arrogant when you think you've got the numbers as well, man. I see you comment these comments on the internet all the time talking about how black people don't ever fight on a one-on-one, so-called black people don't fight on a one-on-one. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know where you're getting all that from. Because what's a lynching? Was a lynching ever one-on-one? And the best combat sports athletes are us. So isn't that one-on-one? So what are you talking about? Muhammad Ali fought plenty of fights one-on-one. Mike Tyson fought plenty of fights one-on-one. George Foreman, Joe Frazier, like Larry Holmes, Lennox Lewis, like plenty of African-American so-called black people fighters. Terence Crawford has plenty of fights one-on-one, never lost one of them. Canelo Alvarez had plenty of fights one-on-one. Our Israelite nation, we've had plenty of fights one-on-one and whooped ass. I don't know what the hell you people are talking about we don't have one-on-one. We have plenty of fights one-on-one, man. And we're such of a stronger nation than you Edomites that we can sometimes go 2 against 1 and whoop y'all ass still. And when all hell breaks loose, you Edomites try and roll upon the Israelites to try and disturb them, you're going to regret doing it too, man. Such does saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai in the prophecies, man. Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. You're going to regret doing it, you know. Okay, you think you're going to win because you've got these physical weapons, but there's another side of weaponry. There's a spiritual side of it that you Edomites don't know nothing about, man. But you're going to find out the hard way. Verse 31, he that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches we receive honor right now in our low position, how much more will we end up higher above you? And he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty, you Edomites? You have the financial advantage right now and you still ain't got no honor. So how much more when you don't have the sway of, if you deal with me nicely, I'll give you some money. You think you Edomites will be able to go over to on these holiday destinations if you don't and act a damn fool? If when you go on holiday, you are not the one that's giving out the tips and you're not the one buying most of the alcohol. If you Edomites went on holiday to Ibiza and Marbella and all that, they shag-a-luff and all this, rag-a-luff and all this, and try to act the way you act over in them countries, but they don't end up more financially better from it when you go over there, they'd hit your ass with a tombstone pile driver, man. They'd chase you out of the land. If when you Edomites went over and tried to all these restaurants and that and tried to have this pompous attitude, talking to people terribly, right? If they didn't end up financially better off from it after you leave, they would throw you out of there. They'd smack you in your mouth. And you Edomites know that. And that's why you're so desperate to fight for the financial power, man, because having a financial advantage over people allows you to control them. And that's what you Edomites have figured out for a long time. You've known that for centuries. But it's coming to an end of your kingdom now. And now the financial advantage is not as strong as it used to be anymore, to the point where the nations that you have the financial advantage over are still going to destroy you, even though they make wealth from you. Let's get the prophecy. Revelation chapter 18, right? And verse, let's start from verse, let's start from verse 8. Therefore shall a plague come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. That's talking about America, which is Babylon the Great. For strong is Yahweh who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, because they've made a lot of wealth with this country. People have made a lot of wealth with America. Even still now, people are making wealth with it, man. And shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for fear of her torment, and saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Now, verse 11, and the merchant of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. So people are still going to be crying over America, but it's still going to be destroyed despite the financial advantage. The financial advantage aspect of America that it had over the world is still going to be a thing that was ongoing, even while America is getting destroyed. They're still going to have had their financial advantage at the time when it gets destroyed, man. And that's one of the reasons why people are going to be complaining over it. It's not going to have lost its financial advantage. Therefore, because it lost its financial advantage over the world, people decide to destroy it because they can't make money from it no more. No, people are going to still destroy it despite being able to still make money from it. And they're going to mourn because now that money is lost. Right? Verse 11 again, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth the merchandise anymore, because there's certain things that people buy, there's certain things that was only created in the first place because it was going to be sold to an American. There's certain items that, like them certain chains and stuff like that, yeah, that are costing like 100 million, and certain things that you see these NBA players and these athletes wear, that doesn't get made for people over in the United Kingdom. They can't afford that. The men that think that they're rich, the Israelites that think that they're rich and they're balling over here in the UK, the moment they go over to America, they'll tuck that chain in. They'll be like, what? I thought I was doing something. And they'll realize, nah, you're not. The Edomites that think that they're rich over here in the UK, the moment they go over to America and see the so-called middle class Edomite over there, they'll realize that their paper, their money is not even nowhere near as much as what an American person's is. America's got way more money than everywhere else, man. Way more. And because of that, they think that they're better than everyone else. But despite the financial advantage that they have over everyone else in the world, it's still going to get destroyed. It's still. Verse 15, the merchants of the sea, it's going to be the merchant of these things which were made rich by her, exactly. That's what I just said, man. The merchant of these things which were made rich by her, because the people that sell these items to America and were made rich by it are going to be crying about it, crying that that place is gone, shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, the land of opportunity, right? For in 1 hour, so great riches come to know. All that money that you had in there, all that opportunity to become rich is gone. And these people that was planning to become rich through America are going to be crying over it, man. And some of the people that actually destroy America are going to be the same people that are going to be crying over it, because they're going to be like, man, what did we do? Because now that we've did that, now Yahweh Shai comes as well, and that's why they're gonna mourn. They are gonna mourn, but they're not gonna be able to properly focus on the mourning, because what they've did is the direct catalyst, man. Like I'm not trying to talk too. Hopefully, I ain't trying to talk too crazy, man, and talk like I'm on some Ian McStrovers trying to sound too smooth, man. But the ICBM prophecy, right? The destruction of Babylon prophecy is the direct catalyst that leads to the events that take place regarding Yahweh Shai that I mentioned in 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, and the events that I mentioned in the Revelation, the 6th chapter, like the last, like maybe 5 to 7 verses, man. This prophecy of Babylon the Great being destroyed leads to the catalyst of, is the catalyst of what leads to Yahweh Shai being brought here. And before this, the prophecy of Babylon the Great being destroyed, the prophecy of the mark of the beast must take place first, which the mark of the beast is the micro CHIP. Verse 17, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? So they're going to find out, man. Like, there's so much stuff, so much judgment that's coming to you, Edomites, man. There's so many things all going on at once, and you Edomites are trying to become proud. You're trying to force pride out of yourselves, right? I can feel it from you. But the thing that you used to be proud about, being a so-called white man, that don't mean nothing, man. Because we already know that ain't real. We already know that y'all are Edomites, and the more evil you act, right? The more evil you act towards us, and the more pride you show, the more it's gonna prove to confirm that what we as Israelites already know about you, right? But to the people that are kind of standing on the fence and they kind of don't know whether they truly believe you're an Edomite, they kind of know you're evil, but they don't truly know if they believe you're an Edomite yet. They're gonna be like, yeah, they are Edomites, man. And we're like, damn, they really are Edomites, huh? Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.